Hi there, my name is Victor and I am a master technician.
Please be aware that I do not represent any company. I'm not endorsed by or affiliated with any automotive manufacturer or car dealership. All opinions expressed in this video are my own, and all trademarks, logos, and brand names are the property of their respective owners.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to remove and reinstall a Toyota Tundra rear differential assembly. I'm going to be putting a PowerTrax limited slip in mine, so I'm going to take you through the process. So first of all, you want to lift the truck up and remove both rear wheels. Drain the rear differential fluid. Always make sure you can open the fill plug before you drain everything, because if it's seized, you won't be able to get the fluid back in there. Put the drain plug back in before you forget with a new washer and tighten. Clamp off the two brake fluid hoses that are above the diff. So this will prevent all the brake fluid from leaking out while we have the calipers removed. Unscrew this hard line from the caliper. You want to use a 10mm line wrench to do that. So loosen them on both sides. Luckily it's not seized. Once the hard line is disconnected, you want to pop this clip off and just get it out of there. There we go. You get the soft line out, rubber hose. Next, we're gonna unbolt the calipers, so two 17mm bolts right here, and then take the caliper right off. You don't have to take the rotors off, but I will, just to make the axles easier to manipulate. Thread in M8 by 125 bolt into one of the threaded holes provided, and this will make the rotor loose, and then you can take it off. Next thing you want to do is unbolt 4 of these 17mm nuts right here, and after that you'll be able to slide the axle out. Disconnect the wheel speed sensor connector. I prefer to kind of pick it up a little bit right there with a small screwdriver, and then you can slide it off after that. There we go. You would also have an e-brake cable coming out of here. I don't have it, so I can't demonstrate it to you, unfortunately. It's fairly straightforward. And now we can tap the axle out. There you go. And then just grab it with your hands, or you might have to pry bar it just a little bit, and slide it out by, you know, 5-6 inches, just enough to clear the differential assembly gears inside. With the axles hanging a little bit out of the axle housing, we are going to unbolt these 4 17mm bolts and hang the drive shaft out of the way. Next, we'll unbolt the front of the drive shaft, so you got 4 17mm nuts right there. With the drive shaft out of the way, go and loosen all of these nuts, and then you can take the pumpkin right out. It doesn't hurt to just mark you know, the relationship of these two, so that when you're putting back, you're not second guessing yourself at exactly the angle it's supposed to be. But if you don't, it's pretty easy to figure it out. While the diff is out, just be ready for the sucker. It's pretty heavy. I don't know how much it weighs, but probably a good 80 pounds at least. And now the fun job of scraping all the old gasket material begins. I've read that some guys don't use a gasket, they just use like a silicone sealer, but I use whatever Toyota supplied, so I'm going to put a new Toyota gasket on it once I clean all the old junk off. Alright, we got this thing set up. I'm going to put the LSD in it. All right, so the limited slip diff is in, and now we're ready to install the assembly back into the axle housing. Before we do it, we need to clean all the old gasket material off of here and make sure the surface is nice and smooth. All right, so I wanted to show you one more thing before this diff goes in. You see this little oil baffle right here, and there's a hole in it for the axle to come through. So I've seen it where guys will be sliding the axle in and they hit this really hard and they pop the baffle out, and then it just rides on the axle and it starts making like a whining noise and cutting a hole in it. So as you're sliding the axle in, when you slide it in gently and when you feel it hit the edge of this baffle, don't push anymore. Find the hole and then push it through that. All right, after everything's been cleaned up, install a new gasket, and the differential assembly is ready to go in. This is the differential carrier gasket part number. Well, this thing is damn heavy. It weighs over 100 pounds, so have a friend help you out. Don't try to put it in yourself. So once it's in essence, you just want to reverse the removal procedure, tighten all of the nuts holding the assembly to the axle housing, and start reassembling everything. Reinstall and tighten the drive shaft nuts and bolts. While you're at it, you might as well replace the axle seal here. There's an O-ring that goes on the outside. I took it off, and then clean up this mating surface a little bit, and then pop this seal out with a pry bar. Old seals out. That's the seal part number, in case you're wondering. And then this is the O-ring that you need. Tap the new seal evenly until it's nice and flush. You can use a little socket. That's it. Install the O-ring on here, and then clean up this mating surface on the back of the axle so that the O-ring sits in there nicely, and then you're ready to slide the axle back in. Okay, now we can get the axle in there. So don't damage the seal putting it in, be careful. Slide it in gently until it hits that the oil baffle on the inside, and now you gotta find the hole in the baffle. So there we go. And here it is. Install and tighten the 4 nuts in the back holding the axle to the axle housing tube. Install the rotor. Install and tighten the brake caliper with the 2 bolts. Next, put the brake hose back in its place, and then secure it with a little clip. Just tap it in from the top. And after this, connect your brake fluid line with a 10 mil box end or open end wrench, rather. Okay, done. Do the final tightening with a line wrench. That way you're not gonna damage the hex on the fitting. And then we gotta plug in the wheel speed sensor here. Clip. You would also have a e-brake cable coming out of here, so you'd have to route it back to where it attaches under the vehicle. I don't have it, so I can't demonstrate it to you, unfortunately. It's fairly straightforward. Now repeat the whole process of changing the seal and O-ring and everything else on this side. Alright, now we can fill the differential with some Toyota LT7585 synthetic gear oil. It takes between 4 and 5 liters to fully fill this thing. Now we're going to install a drain plug with a new gasket, tighten it up, and then we're going to take off these hose clamping pliers that we had on our brake lines. We're gonna bleed the brakes, so just fill up the reservoir to the top with fresh .3 brake fluid. Generally you can just gravity bleed them, so you don't need an assistant or anything. Just open the bleed screw and let it drip out, and once there's a nice steady drip coming out of it, that means all the air is out of them. You can actually see the air bubbles coming out of it right now, so obviously there is still air in it, so we'll just keep bleeding it for a while. Okay, so now the fluid's coming out nice and steady, no air bubbles, so we're done with this side. Tighten the drain plug, and then we can proceed to the other side and bleed that. Alright, the last thing to do was put the wheels on. I wasn't going to bore you with that part of the process, and the truck's running and driving. I haven't had a chance to bag on it yet, but hopefully it'll be making it out to the track in a few days, so wish me luck.
Thanks for watching. Please check for product links below the video for any tools or supplies needed to complete the procedure shown in this tutorial. If you would like me to make a specific video, please leave a suggestion in comments, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Cheers!